How overpowered can you get in Hogwarts Legacy just using plants? Well, today we are going to find out because the one and only Norbert Spliffleton is attending Hogwarts. And he's on his journey to become the most powerful plant wizard of all time. Of course, you know we gotta pick Hufflepuff. They're known for their herbology skills, so it's a straight no-brainer there. It's not going to be the most ideal start for a plant build in the early to mid game because, well, we can't really get plants at this stage. So we will have to resort to basic wizardry for the time being.
Hello there.
Okay, so next up we attended some classes and learned spells and shit. We got ourselves a wand, took out a troll, stole some girls' marbles, and then we got tasked with helping out this bloke. So apparently this guy is getting bullied because he's scared of puffskeins. For the record, this is a puffskein. Anyway, I obliged because there is a neat reward for completing this side quest, and this will help me on the way to becoming the ultimate herbomancer. We have to enter the secret herbology corridor, and in here we will find a giant venomous tentacula. We can't use this one unfortunately, but after we leave this room we enter one of the greenhouses where we can pick up 6 regular sized venomous tentaculars. Now it's time for Herbology 101. Venomous tentaculars are large spiky plants that have the ability to expel acid from their shoots. After deploying them onto the battlefield, they will act as sentries, shooting their venomous attack at surrounding enemies. Like all 3 plants, we can hold up to 12 of them at a time, and in combat we can have a maximum of 2 venomous tentaculars active at once. Overall, they will become an extremely useful plant when fully upgraded. So we officially have our first plants. In saying that, they won't be much use to us yet, but it's a good start for the build nonetheless. We return back to claim our sick robe, and then we head over to Herbology class. This is where we... More importantly, at the end of this class, we get to go to the other greenhouse, where we can then harvest 8 Chinese chomping cabbages, which is now the second plant in our arsenal. And of course, in Herbology 102, we learned that Chinese chomping cabbages are a herbomancer's best friend. They act as sort of plant piranhas, as after they're chucked out in combat, they immediately rush up and start attacking nearby enemies. We can initially have 3 of these on the field at one time, and they will be our major damage dealing plant, and are capable of melting enemies' health bars in seconds. But look, at this stage, both the cabbage and our venomous tentaculars aren't too strong, but we can see in these clips here just a glimpse of the potential that they're capable of. After checking out Azkaban and doing some main story progression, we eventually unlock the talent system, and this is where we can finally increase the strength of our plants. In the room of requirements section, we can find all the upgrades that we're after. We will need to get to level 22 before we can upgrade the venomous tentacular, but for now we can get the chomping cabbage upgrade called fertilizer. For each Chinese chomping cabbage that we throw out, a second cabbage is generated and released at no cost. So initially we were able to just have 3 cabbages, but now we can have 6 of these running around biting the heels of our enemies. And of course, with double the cabbages, that means double the damage. Soon after this, we unlock the room of requirement, and this is where things really start to take off. Here we will be able to grow all the magical plants in game, so in theory we should have an endless supply now. But firstly, we will have to take a trip to Hogsmeade to buy some pots and seeds. We can buy spellcrafts for different potting tables at Tomes and Scrolls, and seeds for our 3 combat plants at Dogweed and Deathcap. And look, this is where we run into our first major road bump. We're broke. And all of these spellcrafts for potting tables and seeds, yeah, they're not cheap, with the potting table with 2 large pots costing $3,000, and all the seeds combined being just under 2.5k. But lucky enough, I know exactly what to do. See this chest right here? This is a disillusionment chest, and inside of this bad boy is 500 gold. And guess what? There are 13 of these scattered around Hogsmeade. How do I know this, you ask? Well, I made an entire video on it which you should totally check out after this one. I'll pop that one down in the description for you, but anyway, let's get looting. And just like that, we now have 7,000 gold, so let's get spending. We pick up the chomping cabbage, mandrake, and of course, venomous tentacular seeds. We then picked up a double large potting table and the table with 2 medium pots. Alright, let's take these back to the room of requirement and start growing our plants. Our first new addition will be the mandrake, which means it's time for Herbology 103. So we have all seen or read about the mandrakes from the Harry Potter series. They release a shriek when unearthed, and in combat when we use them, they will inflict a stunning effect onto all enemies within our radius. They also have the ability to deal out small amounts of damage as well. So mandrakes can be grown in small pots, cabbages in medium or large, and venomous tentaculars in large pots only. This is the setup we are going with. We've got 2 3x small pots in the middle here just for the mandrakes. To the left of that, we've got 2 double large potting tables for the venomous tentaculars. And on the other side, we've got the cabbages growing in the medium potting tables. After spending some quality one-on-one time with Miss Garlic, I get an owl saying that Deke has something new to show us in the room of requirement. After speaking to him, he takes me to the great outdoors and begins to show me how to poach wild creatures. I ended up kidnapping a bunch of these creatures, but I couldn't help but hearing someone yelling over my shoulder.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy this and not join them!
This is actually really fun. I could then take them back to my room of requirement, and if I pet and feed them, they will give me different materials. This will actually be essential in taking our plant build to the next level. See, we can take these materials to the loom and use them to upgrade our gear, as well as apply different traits. Now, there are certain traits in game that will significantly buff our plant's damage. We get these traits from chests that are found in different bandit camps scattered throughout the world. Each time we open one of these chests, we get a random trait. There are 25 different traits in game, with each trait having 3 different levels, with level 3 obviously being the best. In terms of plants, we are looking for the Herbology 3 trait, which significantly increases the damage dealt by all plants. Some other decent ones to get would be the Fangs trait, which buffs our Chinese chomping cabbages, Deafening, which boosts mandrake damage, and Venom, which increases venomous tentacular damage. We get on our broom and start pillaging these various camps, looking for the traits that we're after. And of course, because it's a random drop chance, it may take some time. And yeah, it did. After about an hour of running around, I decided it best to use a little reload method, where I save just before opening the chest, and if I don't get my desired trait, I can simply reload that save and try again. It's always random, so hopefully this will speed things up.
Nope.
Well, we got Herbology 2, that's decent, but we really want to get Herbology 3.
Nope.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Nope.
And just like that, we finally get Herbology 3. After applying this trait, this is where the build gets taken to a whole nother level. So being a level 3 trait, I can only apply it to legendary gear, which I don't really have. So I'm gonna have to run around and loot these ornate chests, which give us an unidentified legendary gear item. I can then take these to the room of requirement and identify them. These chests can be found all around the open world, but are typically located behind locked doors. I was able to track down a handful of these in no time, and now I had a bunch of legendary gear to use. The only problem is that I was missing 2 gear types, the outfit and the scarf. And look, I don't really condone what I'm about to do until you're at least a higher level, but I'm going to visit the clothing store in Hogsmeade and purchase the last 2 pieces of clothing needed for 1,000 gold. Now remember how I said that we needed materials from different creatures to apply these traits? Well, the level 3 traits require Kneazle fur to craft, so I had to go out and catch a few of these, bring them back and feed them, and within a short amount of time I had enough materials to apply Herbology 3 to all my gear. Now that all the gear and traits are sorted, the last thing I need to do is buy the Noxious Talent. This increases venomous tentacular damage and gives them the ability to break shields, which is huge. And then we finally got the Headache Talent, which boosts the duration and damage of our Mandrake stun attack. This is now the build complete, and I'm going to show you just what it's capable of. So this is a level 31 troll, and I'm only level 22, with all my gear being level 19 to 20. It clearly doesn't matter, as you can see just how easily we can take this guy out with just the chomping cabbages. And this is on the hardest difficulty, by the way, and we still destroy him with ease. How about a higher level enemy? This infamous foe is level 35, and yeah, she dies in literally half a second. By the time she could look down to see what was biting at her ankles, she was dead. Another great feature about these plants is that you can chuck them out when you're using the disillusionment charm. and the enemies won't have a clue what's going on until they're taken out. Here's another level 35 enemy, and by the time I can even use the Mandrake or Venomous Tentacular, they're dead. For the final test, we have the highest level enemy in the game. He's a level 37 infamous foe named Sylvanus Selwyn, and just like that, he doesn't stand a chance against our plants. It's safe to say that Norbert Spliffleton has proven just how overpowered plant builds are in Hogwarts Legacy. The fact that you were able to take out some of the highest level enemies in less than a second is kind of funny, and hopefully this inspires you to start using plants in your own playthroughs. Now, if you enjoyed this video, a like and a subscribe would be heavily appreciated. I'll put some of my other Hogwarts Legacy videos down in the description if you want to check those out, and of course guys, take care.